So I'm at the old Lakpazee Zoo that I always talked about. Remember I told you guys I grew up in so many places. And this barbed wire, man, we used to touch this thing. Come and look at these animals that were here. Like, this is an amazing memory for me. I can't even say what I'm feeling right now because I'm having so many nostalgic feeling. Like, nostalgia is taking over me right now. But I'm so glad that I came, and it's interesting to see that instead of the place being broken down totally, we have buildings in here. So right now I just met a friend. Her name is Mercy, and she's taking me inside. At least I'm getting to go in to see, what's happening in there, how it looks right now. But stay tuned.
Disclaimer: the following images that are shown right now, they are not images that I took in Liberia. They are images that I took when I went to the Suzhou Zoo in China. But I'm using them because while I was out there at the zoo, or at this zoo, it brought back a lot of childhood memory, which is why I'm making this particular video today. So when I was out there and I went to this zoo, I saw all of these animals and the entire environment. You had tourists coming out to take a look at all of these things. It just made me to realize how much we are missing out, in Liberia. Growing up, right before the war broke out, I remember I used to live in Lakpazee, not far from the zoo. Yes, Liberia had a zoo. I must have been like 6 years old at the time. My house was kind of right opposite the road that led straight down to the zoo. And I remember I always had interest in going to watch these animals. First of all, the fence they had around the entire place, they were like barbed wire fence. So I always used to go out there. I was so captivated by these animals. One of the animals that had my attention the most was the giraffe. When it bends its head down to either chew something or so, and then it lifts it up, and how it stretches, it becomes so long. That was something that was so amazing to me. But I remember my entire childhood, like that period that I lived in Lakpazee, I was out there the most. These are some of the places my love for nature actually started. So coming back to Liberia, I decided to go and visit this place. I don't know how it's like what's happening there, but I decided to go and take a look at it today. And when I got there, this is what I saw. So like we would come, and I used to remember we, stand by the barbed wire like this and be looking in at all of the animals here. But now it's a residential area. So the zoo is no more. But I guess it's been like, I don't know how many years it has been, because it's since the 1990 war. This is the current area of how the zoo looks today. So I had to capture this moment. But then I wanted to know what really, I know the war came, the war happened, but then I wanted to know what really became of it after. So I had to do some search. And while on the internet, my curiosity in knowing much about the Lakpazee Zoo led to one Charles Stenner. He's the founder of the Monrovia Zoo, the one we used to call Lakpazee Zoo. He said that he came to Liberia in 1962 to work in the biology department of the University of Liberia in Monrovia. Because of his love for nature, the natural world, He encouraged people to bring orphaned animals to him. He raised and kept them in the grounds of the university, where they generated great interest amongst the public. In 1970, he moved on the old road, where he was able to now keep animals in his own backyard. The locals and overseas visitors grew more interest and were keen to learn more about Liberian wildlife. By 1977, he was married to a Liberian called Annie, and they both decided to turn their collection of animals into a zoo and animal orphanage when someone brought 2 orphaned leopard cubs to their doorstep. They arranged the enclosure in a way suitable for visitors and put the names of the animals on the cages and fences.
At the old Lakpazee Zoo that I always talked about. Remember I told you guys I grew up in so many places. And this barbed wire, man, we used to touch this thing. Come and look at these animals that were here. Like, this is an amazing memory for me. I can't even say what I'm feeling right now because I'm having so many nostalgic feelings. Like, nostalgia is taking over me right now. But I'm so glad that I came. And it's interesting to see that instead of the place being broken down totally, we have buildings in here. So right now I just met a friend, her name is Mercy, and she's taking me inside this. I'm getting to go in to see, what's happening in there, how it looks right now.
In 1980, they moved their collection of animals to Lakpazee in the airfield area, Simca, situated on the banks of Mesorado River. There on the larger site, they were able to develop the zoo, building better enclosures for the many species of bird, mammal, reptile, with assistance from local businesses, organizations, schools, and individuals. Later that year, the Monrovia Zoo and Animal Orphanage was formally opened. For local people, the zoo and animal orphanage represented a very special place. It was the only location in town where families could come to enjoy themselves for a day out, as well as to learn about Liberian wildlife and their natural heritage. Additionally, the children's playground was for many the first ever. Tourists were surprised to see the variety of animals that live in Liberian rainforest. In 1990, Civil War broke out and devastated Liberia for 14 years. In the same year, everything in the zoo and animal orphanage was destroyed and all the animals were killed. So, based on my research, this is what I stumbled upon on the internet. And this is how I even got to know how the zoo was even founded or established. Charles Stenner, he established the zoo. He's the founder, or he is or was. I don't know which one to use right now because it's not existing anymore. But I mean, I got there today and I was fortunate to be able to enter the fence and see what's happening there now. It's more of a residential area right now. But I felt really great being able to live this moment again in my life because I just needed to know what's happening or what had happened to the zoo. Now it has created more curiosity in knowing if there's another zoo in Liberia. I don't know. I know of the Sapo Park. Yeah, I know of the Sapo Park. I have not visited it yet since I came back. I will take a visit there, but I mean, like, locally in Monrovia, do we have any zoo? If you know of any, please leave it down in the comment section below. But this moment was very, very beautiful. It was very, I was just living, like, getting all of those goosebumps on my skin. It was a beautiful thing. And I know I talk a lot about the government, but these are things that people make investment in. These are things that bring revenues to your country. Tourism is not to be taken lightly. The way you tell your story is going to interest the world out there. It's going to make people to want to come to your country. And who is doing that for us? Look at that zoo. Since 1990, it's gone. 1990 to 2022, that's some freaking good amount of years. I see you guys. Tell me what you think about the video in the comment section below. I love you. Bye-bye. Isn't this view amazing?